Hello, I'm Nolan Crawford, and alongside me today will be Jacob Cromley. We both will be inducting 6 people into the Hall of Fame who we thought had the most influence on the creation of our country, America. Jacob?
How are you doing today?
I'm good, how are you?
All right, let's get this thing started. All right, Nolan, so who is your most important person?
Well, my most important person was Christopher Columbus. Obviously, he discovered America, so, without America, we wouldn't have America, the country itself, and we wouldn't be where we are today, most likely. Since we were little kids, we learned about him. He's obviously a very influential figure on the creation of the country. So this is why I believe that, he's my most influential person on the creation of America. Who do you think your most important person is?
Well, I think it's definitely George Washington. He was the first commander-in-chief of the U.S. Continental Army during the Revolutionary War. Now, this is important because, if we didn't win this war, we wouldn't be where we are today. He was also the first president of the United States, which built a foundation for us. If we wanted to be more like him, all we had to do is make the choices like him, which built, obviously, a stronger government as what we have today, and that's really important. We wouldn't be where we are today without George Washington as our first president. See, Nolan, that's why I think George Washington is really important in the creation of the United States. Now, John Adams was also quite important. He was a political philosopher, which means he gave us ideas on how politics should be today. He's also the second president of the United States, and any president obviously has quite an influence on what we are.
Agreed.
He's a founding father, and any founding father should be inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's just how it should be. He promoted republicanism, a strong central government, and with a strong central government, they can control, not control the people, but help guide the people and give them laws and stuff, which is also important. Today, we have quite a strong central government. They tell us what we should and shouldn't do. He also helped negotiate the Treaty of Paris and helped write the Declaration of Independence, which is really, really important. The Declaration of Independence is the Declaration of Independence. We declared our independence from England.
Well, my second pick was Thomas Jefferson, and he was the author of the Declaration of Independence, so he might have a little bit more leeway than John Adams on that particular part.
Whatever.
Also, he was the first Secretary of State, so he controlled all of our foreign affairs that we have today. Without trade from China and other certain countries, our economy might be worse than it is today, and foreign affairs are a very big deal, as it is right now. So, yeah.
Speaking of the Treaty of Paris, which is really important, the author of that was actually John Jay. Now, this is important because, it stopped the American Revolution. Without that, we could still be at war right now, and we wouldn't be able to shape the ideas we have right now. He's also a founding father of the United States of America, and once again, every founding father should be inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's the first Chief Justice, which, helps makes laws,
Right.
and so, that, brought in the first laws to, govern the United States as it is today. That's why I think John Jay is really important. Who do you think?
My next person is Ben Franklin, also known as Benjamin Franklin. He's an American Revolutionary catalyst. I believe he fought during that war. Also, he's an inventor of many things. Lightning rod, the glasses that you're wearing right now. Without those, you might not be able to see. He invented those. And people say he was also a spy, as he went over to countries. He would usually go to France and Britain and stuff to spend his time there, and he'd be a spy as well. And it was a major, major influence on political events. Every political convention, meeting, he was there to voice his opinion on what he thought was right. And he was a major, major influence on how our country was built and how people saw him as a political leader.
I also think that, I've heard that he helped with colonial unity. He wanted to unify all of the states, I guess you could say, to be one and help with each other instead of everybody just going in their own separate ways. I've heard that he was also a big idealist in that.
He was also a very religious person too, as well. So he was, helped with the religious people who were very religious and fought for that stuff, and he was against the people who weren't. But he saw both points of perspective, as to say. On the other hand, my fourth inductee to the Hall of Fame is John Marshall. He created the Supreme Court for the United States and also laid down a good basis for the first United States constitutional laws for us to follow. Without laws, obviously, to follow for the people, our country could be in complete chaos, possibly might not even exist. So this is just one of the many reasons why John Marshall is a very inspirational figure towards the creation of our country, because without laws, I mean, we could definitely be in just complete and utter havoc, chaos today.
Yeah, I agree. But I think my fourth inductee is going to be Alexander Hamilton. He and Thomas Jefferson got in, not fights, but political arguments over if they should be Federalists or, I believe, Democratic Republics. If, like, Thomas Jefferson didn't have the opposing viewpoints, he wouldn't be able to, like, shape the way he thought of his party.
Right.
And that's really important because Thomas Jefferson was obviously one of the presidents, and he needed views on how to, like, run things. Also, it's said that Alexander Hamilton is like one of the best guys to not become president because of his political viewpoints. He also created a national bank, and like without the national bank, we wouldn't have like money. Like it'd be hard to control the amount of money people have, and like without controlling the amount of money people have, everybody could just either be like take as much money as they want or like have no money at all. Like we need that control of the bank. That's why he's very, very important in creating the United States as we know today.
My fifth pick in my Hall of Fame is James Madison. He's the father of our Constitution, so without a Constitution today, we'd be struggling to govern ourselves and make laws. The Constitution is obviously very important because our country looks at it for a basis to organize ourselves. And he, obviously being the father of the Constitution, implemented the Constitution, and he also implemented the Bill of Rights into the Constitution, which is the first 10 amendments of the Constitution. So many people thought that without a Bill of Rights, a lot of people wouldn't sign the Constitution. So obviously he was a great influence on that. And he was a founding father. So any founding father obviously should be considered into the Hall of Fame.
My fifth inductee is Sam Adams. He was a strong he didn't like the British that much, like the taxes they imposed on us, and like the Stamp Act is a big, he just didn't like it that much, like he didn't want to be connected with the British. He was also one of the people who organized the Boston Tea Party to also get more independent from the British. He didn't like being controlled by them, and like if we didn't like rebel against the British, we might not be like a free country today, so that's very important to be a free country. Last but not least, my final inductee is Thomas Paine. He was the one that wrote the document Common Sense, which brought everybody together to fight against England. And if we didn't, we wouldn't be independent today. I mean, England, if we didn't win this war, would still be controlling us, and we don't want to be controlled by an outside source. I mean, with this document, everybody kind of filtered in together to work as one union, to work together to fight against England, which is really important because we wouldn't be where we are today without this document and this guy writing it.
My final pick, and certainly not least, is James Monroe. He was president during the 1800s, but he did some stuff before the 1800s, so that's why I have him on my list. He did serve in the Revolutionary War, and he also improved the country's international reputation. So, I mean, foreign affairs are obviously a very huge deal when it comes to trading and just getting supplies from them, obviously. And he studied with Thomas Jefferson, so Thomas Jefferson, he helped mentor him and was a great leader for him. And he was the 5th president of the United States. Now stay tuned for our awards ceremony.
We are giving our first award to George Washington. We're giving him the FTAB and the FTAN, First Team All-Beast and First Team All-Nation. We are giving these to him because of his great leadership. He once said, "Be courteous to all, but intimate with few, and let those few be well tried before you give them your confidence."
And our second award goes to Christopher Columbus. We're giving him the MIE, also known as the most important explorer, for his thirst for exploration. He once said, "Following the light of the sun, we left the old world."
We are giving our third award to John Adams. It's called the MVA, or the Most Valuable Adams. We are giving it to him because of his good communication skills. He once said, "Our Constitution was made for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other."
And our fourth award will be going to Thomas Jefferson. We are giving him the FTAA, First Team All-Author, for his courageous writing throughout the years. He once said, "The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants."
Our next award will be going to John Jay. We are going to name it the Nobel Peace Prize Award. This is because he was able to create peace with the Treaty of Paris and he was also very influential, and he was a very good persuader. He once said, "The people who own the country ought to govern it."
Our sixth award will be going to Benjamin Franklin. We will be giving him the MIP, also known as the most influential person, for his ability to persuade people. He once said, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn."
Our seventh award will be going to James Madison. It is called the MVCW, or the Most Valuable Constitution Writer. We are giving this because he was able to create a constitution. He once said, "Knowledge will forever govern ignorance, and a people who mean to be their own governors must arm themselves with power which knowledge gives."
Our eighth award will be going to James Monroe. We will be giving him the MWRA, also known as the Most Well-Rounded Award, for his ability to learn at all aspects of politics. He once said, "A little flattery will support a man through great fatigue."
Our next award will be going to Alexander Hamilton. It will be named the Banker Award. We are giving this to him because he is very organized, and he was able to create a national bank. He once said, "A national debt, if it is not excessive, will be to us a national blessing."
Our 10th award will go to Sam Adams. We will be giving him the runner-up to the Best Adams Award because he was not as important as John Adams. The skill, though, that we will be giving him is that he was great at organizing fabulous tea parties. He once said, "It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men."
Our next award will be going to Thomas Paine. It is called the TPA, or the Persuader Award. We are giving this because he was able to persuade the colonies to work together as one union and fight against the British. He once said, "The real man smiles in trouble, gathers strength from distress, and grows brave by reflection."
Our 12th and final award will be going to John Marshall. We will be giving him the MSA, also known as the Mr. Supreme Award, for his open-mindedness on creating the Supreme Court of the United States. He once said, "The power to tax is the power to destroy." Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on a future Pre-A Push project.